Well, I think a lot of us have heard of peptides, especially when referencing the next best application in skincare and bodybuilding. But what are they exactly, and how do you make the most of these chemical building blocks? Well, let's welcome Dr. Kimby Marinakos, CEO of the Wellness Loft. I want to hear more about this Wellness Loft. First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Peptides, I'm used to applying peptides to my skin, but what are peptides exactly?
Peptides are small chains of amino acids. When there are 2 to 50 amino acids in sequence, we refer to that as a peptide. 50 or more amino acids in sequence, we call that a protein.
Okay, so are we consuming peptides? Do we create the peptides from what we consume?
Your body is creating peptides from the amino acids that we consume through protein.
I see. It's amazing. The way the body works is truly a magical thing. And peptides are very important in our everyday life and sustainability. Why is that?
Absolutely. The body is truly a brilliant design, and peptides really are the signaling molecules that the body creates to trigger all of the miraculous physiologic functions. So that's why they're so important, and that's why they offer a really exciting new frontier in medical wellness.
Yep.
We are using the body's own language for triggering.
So what do they do exactly? So when you say that it helps sustain us, so what does a peptide do in the body to keep us functioning?
Sure, they are signaling molecules. So the most well-known, the first really discovered and the most well-known peptide is insulin. It's made by your pancreas. What we discovered after we discovered insulin and then decoded the sequence of amino acids, what we discovered it does is it tells the cells to open up and bring glucose out of the bloodstream and into the cell to use for fuel. So once we learned that that's what they signal, we can now use it therapeutically. And as you know, we use it in type 2 diabetes, or we use it to bring the blood sugar, to bring sugar out of the bloodstream and into the cells.
So, and of course, when we talk about how it's being used pharmaceutically, we think about Ozempic, of course, those types of insulin, types of medications. Is there a possibility that a human could improve their insulin production without having to rely on a man-made product?
100%, absolutely. It's phenomenal what we're seeing with the GLP-1 class of peptides. And that's going to be the liraglutide, dulaglutide, semaglutide, tirzepatide. There are a few brand names that are out there, and they're working wonders for insulin resistance and to improve insulin sensitivity. And what they also do is delay gastric emptying. And that's an important piece because it's allowing your microbiome to have more of an opportunity and more time to pull those micronutrients out of the food that we eat and assemble more signaling molecules.
Yeah, I just read an article actually about microbiomes, and that there are a couple of tests that you can order to come to your house and have it tested. But really though, a holistic way of living is always the optimal way, right? Eating well. What are some of the ways in which we can live our daily lives by making sure that we're eating and doing the right things to produce the peptides that we need?
Well, lean proteins are important, and strength training is important. Sunshine is important. Clean water is important. Lifestyle and behavior is still very much an important piece of any truly integrative journey to wellness and to longevity and health span. So what we want to do is support the individual holistically so that we can promote healthy behavior, healthy lifestyle, and healthy diet so that we have all the building blocks that we need for the body to work its miracles.
Yeah. And you brought a little syringe with you, and I just want to talk about, so how would this work? So you've got a syringe, it's like an insulin.
This is an insulin syringe.
Right?
So most peptides are administered by subcutaneous injection, okay? And that subcutaneous injection just means just under the skin. So wherever you can pinch, it's just going to go right under the skin.
Little left handle, right? Yeah.
Right. And so this is an insulin syringe, tiny little needle, and a lot of people think that they couldn't possibly do an injection on themselves, but it's really the tiniest needle. And in that subcutaneous tissue, there are very few, if any, nerve endings, so we don't really feel it.
So what are you injecting exactly?
peptides, whatever you
Peptides.
might decide. So this is how the GLP-1s are injected.
Oh, okay.
So the brand names have an auto-injecting pen, so it's just a quick movement. But if you were using a different or a compounded peptide solution or an insulin, you would use a subcutaneous injection by way of an insulin syringe, just like this.
See, okay.
So-
And is that for everybody, or is that someone who
It's not
has
for
an
everybody.
imbalance?
No, it's not for everybody, and I think that's the most important message we can get across, is that for the right patient, peptides are a wonderful and phenomenally effective therapeutic modality.
Yeah.
They are not for everybody, and what's most important is making sure you work with someone who knows peptides, who's been trained in peptide therapeutics, and who can responsibly follow you and your dose,
Yeah.
and really individualize it.
Indeed. All right. Well, the Wellness Loft, we're going to direct everyone to your website. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
So welcome.
We're back after this.